Hey guys, it's Allison Christina with Blackbird Oracle. Welcome back. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I know I've been out for a minute, right? It was rough, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. This past month, 3 weeks, have really been deep for me anyways. And I feel like for the collective, I've really been pushed to really dig deep and address shadows and where I'm holding myself back, where those fears and insecurities are. And I feel like, and as I'm saying it, I'm shivering, getting the chills, that's been going on collectively. I wanted to jump on today, felt really guided. I've been wanting to jump on, and it's just my reality has felt very chaotic a little bit. Just really trying to get clarity on my path. So part of that, and where I've been being guided and pushed to do, is opening up a little more, being a little more vulnerable, sharing a little more of me, my truths, my story, with the intention, of course, to inspire and empower you to live your best life, to love yourself, regardless of the past experiences that you've chosen to experience, but are not necessarily enjoyable in the moment, right? So hopefully, with all of my intentions, you will be seeing more of me more consistently. I know I've said it before, but I am who I am, right? And just like you guys, working through fears and insecurities all the time to really push myself for my best life, for higher consciousness, for living in a whole new reality. And that's happening. But it feels like sometimes they're kind of meshed or kind of between worlds, right? And that's how I felt. And again, I feel and know the way that I work with spirit is that seems to be a common theme collectively. So what I wanted to look at today was Mercury Retrograde specifically. Really get into the energy, the themes, give you some maybe clarity and guidance through this first few weeks, 20 days, right, of Mercury Retrograde and the first part of November. What came through when I was meditating this morning was, one, it feels very positive, and I feel that is big for those who have been doing your work. Okay, it feels like this Mercury Retrograde, there's going to be communication. There's going to be a lot of truth coming out. How that looks is dependent on where you're at in your journey, right? For those who are doing your work, who are awake and in ascension, it is going to be very positive. It's going to be kind of these moments of aha and clarity and knowing what to do, what to release, how to move forward, what's working, what's not working. And that came out in the cards. And like I did a quick video up on IG, and this is the extended of that for this Mercury Retrograde reading. I'll go over, all I looked at right away was the overall energy collectively and the themes. So, and what came out was not surprising. It's all about walking away from what no longer serves, really calling on your strength and your courage to make those changes, for creating a new life, the life you deserve, the life you dream of, right? The life of milk and honey, which is one of the themes that came out today. So one thing I was getting in the meditation was, don't be reactive to this. Be aware that those who, excuse me, still getting over a bit of a cold and just being down. That was part of what was going on with me, was I got sick, I guess. but it was more of taking spirit forcing me, my body telling me it's time to take a rest and relook at everything. So, and it goes along with Mercury retrograde, right? Of trying not to be reactive, seeing things through the eyes of love, because those who aren't awake, this affects them differently. They're unaware. And so some patience is what Spirit is saying. But also don't hesitate to be honest. Like this seems to be a time of no more bullshit, right? Like it is what it is. Almost like I love you, but you gots to go, because a lot's coming up with relationships, and a lot of my soul family and my clients are going through this, especially within their partnerships. But I'm also seeing it in all sorts of relationships, with your children, with your families, with work, colleagues. So take it as it resonates. This is a general reading. There'll be a lot that comes through that you have to take it as it resonates for you. Okay. And leave the rest. And if it doesn't resonate, then it's just not the right time. All my videos are done with the intention of being timeless. Yeah, I mentioned full moons, new moons, Mercury retrogrades, all of that. But whenever you're guided to this is when you're guided to it. And that's when you're ready to hear the messages. Because the coolest thing about Spirit, well, not the coolest, but one of them, many cool things, right, is you're going to get what you need when you need it, when you're ready for it. So that's one thing, is if you feel like a lot of truth is being revealed, it's because you're ready. It's because you're ready to make these big changes, to step into a bigger life, into this life that you deserve and that you dream of. Navigating distractions was coming through, that it might feel like there's a lot pulling at you, but Spirit is saying, this is your time to regenerate, to rebirth. It's Scorpio season, and Scorpio's all about death, rebirth, transformation. So this is that time, and letting go of all that no longer serves, getting out of survival mode and really thriving. I'm picking up a lot with stability, really looking at what stability means. A lot going on collectively in the root chakra. So you might be experiencing that, lower back pains. There's a lot too I'm feeling in the solar plexus, and that has to do with that strength, that confidence to cut those cords and to say, you know what, I love, again, I love you, but I got to go. Like it's time is what's coming through. So really calling back that power, calling back that magic and that strength, working in that solar plexus, yellow, the sun. There's a lot going on in the sun, and I'm not an expert in astrology or any of that. I do pick up, but it comes through more emotionally with me. So I know, like for me, the solar flares were wearing me out. There was a lot coming up. I was getting very tired. Just kind of, it felt like and I don't know about you guys, but it felt like I'd have all this high energy and lots of energy for short bursts, and then I'd need to rest, and then burst, and then rest. And that's kind of how the past month has been for me. So again, I don't know if you've been experiencing something similar. I'd love to hear if you have. So, comment, email me, likes, shares, all that, subscribe, all that cool stuff. I'm so grateful for, and it really is most of what I love is hearing from you. So I'm always holding safe space for you to share your experiences and to offer guidance and unconditional love. Okay. So anyways, that's the notes and what was coming through with meditation and pre-shuffle. And I'm going to jump into, am I talking really fast? I don't know. I'm going to jump into what came out, overall energy and overall themes. And then we'll get into more detail on this Mercury retrograde. Just let me have some coffee. Okay, so right away, first thing I asked Spirit is, what was the overall energy of this Mercury retrograde for the collective? And the Angel of Strength came out. It is a 5, and that is all about change. And we know we have to call on that inner strength and that support of our divine team and the universe to make the changes. Change is not easy, especially at first, right? I find it becomes easier through the journey, through the ascension process. As you build that awareness, it's almost like it's easier to shift or work through whatever comes up and the changes you need to make. But then there are these changes, right, that they're not easy, y'all. They're fucking hard. Change is hard. And because we've been so programmed to try to hang on to keeping things the same and thinking that is the way it should be when it's asked backwards. And we got to be comfortable with change. Change is the only constant, right? We've got to get comfortable in the discomfort. And I talked about that on IG because the second card that came out, what do we need the strength for? The Garden and the Gate. This is about walking away. This is someone in their safe zone, in that comfortable spot, looking into the unknown and being on the fence like, I don't know, this is what I'm used to, and I don't really know what's out here and what's going to happen if I walk through that gate, right? The thing is, she has the key to do it, but she's not there yet, right? She knows, like, it's her, and please take it masculine, feminine, her, him, he, she, take that as it resonates. It's going to come through the way it comes through. She knows that she's the one that's in control. She has the choice to do this, but there's this uncertainty still. And that's where this self-confidence, power, magic, courage, these words coming through need to be tapped into. I'm seeing this yellow, right? The solar plexus, which I brought up and has been coming up. Butterflies, this transformation, Scorpio season, like we talked about, transformation, death, and rebirth. This 3, balance, the ascended masters, knowing you're supported by the universe to take this leap of faith. Okay. And I loved that as the overall energy, as Spirit does, just connects everything to where you specifically are going to be pushed. And I'm going to set the overall theme to the side, and let's just look at the energy right now a little more. So I want to tap in with some tarot and just kind of see. I have all these decks out. I got them already because I just wasn't sure how this was going to come out. I'm going to use the Good Tarot by Colette Baron-Reid. I don't normally tell the decks. If that's something you want me to do, just let me know. Oh, and they come flying already. Just like that. We're going to start with the Angel of Strength. Spirit, tell us a little more about this Angel of Strength. What do we need the strength for as a collective right now? I have been picking up too. Don't be surprised with communication. It is not just individual. It's on a collective. I'm getting a little bit of maybe some, global news. Public figures with truth. So right away we get the Hangman, which tells me again, there's that 3. That's that shift in perspective, enlightenment. It's when we take that key and unlock the door or unlock the gate. So this is Mercury retrograde, of course, is not a time so much of action, although it does feel this Mercury retrograde is a little bit more a little bit more of a green light with action, but being very balanced in those actions, right? But it is this suspended motion time. Could be a lot of going inward, calling on that strength, really getting clear before we put that key in the lock, Let's see what else. Tell me a little more about this Hangman. Seeing the wings again. So a lot of, I'm hearing spreading your wings, which is really, really cool. I feel a lot of light workers in Ascension, star seeds, whatever labels. I'm not a label person, y'all. However that you choose to label. That is definitely what it is. This is a moment of really coming out, of seeing that it's time to step into the light, almost like making yourself be seen. And that's a little bit for me individually what's been coming through, but also towards this collective of those of us in Ascension and those of us who are being guided to put truth out, right, to the world, but there's still those fears. And so this is, I feel like it's coming through, definitely for if you are in that place. This is really the moment of that clarity coming in, of really seeing things clearly so that you're able to spread your wings. These last 2 months of 2019 are definitely preparation for 2020 and really getting things out of the fucking way so that this momentum of positivity, of higher vibration, of success can get going into 2020. There's a ton of shit that's going to go down, and light workers are going to be needed. So it feels like this Mercury retrograde, the last one of the year, is this really getting clear and really positive, in a positive way. Tell me a little more about the garden and the gate. The choices that need to be made, maybe what fears. Yeah. Okay. Four of water. Fears of missing an opportunity. This is a card to me too, a little bit about boredom. And it goes to that comfort zone, right? Are you surviving or thriving? That's what they're saying. That's the question. Are you surviving and just kind of on autopilot, going through the motions, right, of life? Or are you grabbing these opportunities? I'm always grabbing life by the balls, right? Being okay with the unknown and saying, fuck it, let's do this shit. And it's weird it's coming through with this Four of Water, but in the good tarot, the image is a little different, and I feel like she's, it's almost like this, it's almost like a crystal ball, like she's seeing what needs to be done. She's seeing where it can go, and it's just getting past that old pattern, that old thought process, or that emotion that's attached to it. I'm getting a little bit of a past energy, which, makes sense. A little bit of a past energy, and with it being water, Scorpio season, right? It feels emotional, like there's still an attachment to something that is what is this, I guess, this kind of hesitation, this uncertainty. Tell me a little more about the Hangman. Too many. And actually, I don't want to do that, I don't think. I want to look at the themes now. Then I might clarify. All right. And use the wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reid to ask about themes for this Mercury retrograde. And the first card that came out was New Life. Not surprising. To me, this goes right with this. do you walk towards this new life, right? She's looking on my table. She's looking at this card of this like rebirth, and we've been talking about that, right? Scorpio season is this creating this new life. And then, as I earlier was saying, light workers, this feels very channeled today for light workers that are ready, that have been in this shell, this hermit mode, to crack through. There's those wings again too, of rebirth, of transformation, of the caterpillar becoming a butterfly, right? And it's about choices. The 3 and the 9 balanced. It's about you. This, to me, the 9 is a card of independent. And when it first pulled out or flew out, if you watch my videos, I don't tend to pull. They just kind of jump. It's the way Spirit and I have always worked. So with cards, but I was seeing the 9 of Pentacles, of this very independent, grounded, stable, divine being, right? Whether masculine or feminine. And the 9 to me, though, too, it represents hermit mode. It represents the hermit in traditional tarot. And being a Virgo, I know that hermit mode sometimes can get really comfortable. It's your safe place, right? And I feel like, again, this light worker stuff's coming through today, of when we go through the awakening and then ascension process, we kind of do go in this hermit mode. Isolation requires elevation requires isolation, right? I've been doing that a lot, is flipping things. And so we go into this hermit mode, into this kind of isolated place where things have fallen apart, and we're trying to make sense of it all, but we can't stay there. And I know that's not just for you guys. That's a message for me too, of that becomes so safe and comfortable, but you have so much more to offer than staying in this, in the egg, in the incubation, in the hibernation, in the cocoon. It's time, this Mercury retrograde, and the communication that's going to come through, and the inner work you're being called to do, or the shadows that you're called to look at, are all about you breaking through this. It's this rebirth through this Scorpio season. I just love it. And then the other card that came out was Milk and Honey, and at 51. So we have that change again. And to me, that's a change in self, a change in self-love, but maybe a change in putting yourself first, of really making the changes that are all about what you want in life, okay? It's not about what anybody else wants. And everybody can want all the best things for you, but they have their own idea of what that looks like, and they don't matter. And I've been through this. Many of you have too, of allowing it to be what it is, your success to be what it is, your life to be what you want it to be, not no one else. It's that co-creator in you. It's that magician in you, creating this new life of milk and honey. And this Mercury retrograde, like I said, what's coming through is this is the time that things become very clear, that you know exactly what you need to do to move forward, to break through that shell and offer your light to the world. Let's get a card on this new life. Oh, thank you. That came quick. Four of Air, healing. Fours are coming through, and I mentioned at the beginning of the video that the root chakra stability, fours to me are a number of that stability, that happy home, that contentment. The Four of Air is about healing. And with that Hangman, I love that because it is a time of kind of pulling back, of being inward, of kind of letting things shift internally to see how you want them to manifest in the physical. Tell me about this milk and honey, please. There's a lot of divine guidance available to you too. Ancestors, we know with Halloween, the veil's very thin. So really being tapping into your ancestors, spirit guides, angels, archangels, you know, your spirit team, for that strength, for that clarity. And honey, thank you. Oh, I love it. Ace of Earth. That new beginning in the physical. There's that one again. What do you want to create? What do you want your new life to look like? Because it can be whatever you want. The power is yours because it's your choice. But you've got to look at, what are you choosing? What did you used to choose in the past? There's a lot of loops going on, timeline loops. People finding themselves in the same place they were a year ago and going, whoa, wait a minute. Now what? Now where do I readjust? Some people, others, are just on autopilot doing the same tired ass shit, letting the thoughts run the show, but you're in the control. You control the thoughts. You run the show with your team. And this Mercury retrograde, again, is pushing all of us to this new beginning to really look at and make the hard choices that are all about us, our highest good. And I mean us collectively and individually, because whatever we're doing individually to heal, to evolve, to love ourselves, it is affecting the collective, and we have to keep doing that. And I'm seeing this green too on this card right in the center down here of this pentacle, heart-based. There's that out of the head into the heart, and that's been a consistent theme for the past few weeks of really getting out of the head and into the heart, getting in alignment of head and heart, and really trusting that knowing of what's best for you, what you need. They're bringing me back to the Four of Air too, in her feathers. So you might be seeing feathers, wings, might be signs, birds. Take that for what it is. It's just what's coming through. To me, this Ace of Earth too is talking about really that movement towards this new year. You know, again, there's a message coming through of these last 2 months are really laying the groundwork and the release for 2020 and having this really strong, stable life, new life, right? That's just high vibrational, higher consciousness, way of living, way of being that provides, you know, it provides that stability that we all need and we all want, but the way it's been taught to us or shown to us is false, right? And so this is a time to really look at the truth and making those tough decisions. That just what keeps coming through. All right. I'm going to just get a few more details on some of these. Actually, I think I'll just this deck. Give us a way. Let's just kind of get some clarity, some more details on these energies and themes. Oops. Can you tell us about the Hangman? This Angel of Strength, Hangman. Messages, details do you have? Highest good, collective, and the Hangman. Perspective, enlightenment. Okay. The Knight of Cups, again, emotional movement forward. It keeps coming through of the movement forward is coming from the heart space. It's coming from a place of alignment. Could be for some of you an offer coming in. Yep, chills. So for some of you, this is an offer coming in. Could be romantic, could represent a water sign, could be you too with this hangman. Really just trusting your heart, trusting your guidance. I'm looking at it with the angel of strength, really knowing, being in your knowing and your power of what's best for you to kind of march forward. But I'm getting both messages, so take what resonates in that. Relationships are a big theme right now, and what's working and what's not, right? And so I am getting, if you maybe are wondering about messages from someone, maybe a masculine, those could be coming. They could be in a place of their own kind of hangman moment of getting really clear on how to make this offer, because the Page of Pentacles just flew out too, as I was saying it. So with that, I feel like, the Page of Pentacles, messenger, an offer could represent Earth sign, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. Could be an offer made for some of you from a water sign. You're an Earth sign. I don't know. Just looking at them together and, having 2 court cards, there are definitely people involved in these decisions you have to make during this Mercury retrograde. But it feels like if this is not you, another person, they're in a moment too of just being a little bit reflective, to be very clear when they come forth with this offer. Could be work related as well, towards a career. Doesn't have to be partnership or romantic. Again, take what resonates and leave the rest. Tell me a little more about this Knight of Cups, Page of Pentacles. Overall energy of Mercury retrograde. Yeah, there's whoa, okay. We get the World. Love that. So there's a completion, and that totally aligns with everything else of completing cycles. We get the Ten of Pentacles, making choices. To me, that goes to that milk and honey. It's also like, to me, remember I said I was seeing the Nine of Pentacles? So here's this Page of Pentacles making an offer that completes to this Ten of Pentacles that brings everything kind of together. So it feels like through this Mercury retrograde, whatever communication is coming in is really about bringing things together, like connecting, like everything's going to get connected and come to completion for this new life of this clarity of where you're headed, for this like fucking rad Ten of Pentacles energy, right? I'm getting this too with this hangman of, again, if this is another person and not you, of this maybe clarity in seeing where really happiness, stability, family, all of that good shit, that milk and honey, like this perspective change is what kind of shifts within during this Mercury retrograde for this other person or for a group. There's definitely, like I said, this aha moment of really what brings it all to completion. Let's look at the garden and the gate. Oh, they're popping, y'all. 3. Page of Swords. So definitely, and Mercury is communication. When we go retrograde, it's like most people have this really like kind of negative, scary thing about Mercury retrograde, but this to me with the Page of Swords is clear communication, grounded, stable. When I'm seeing the Knight of Water and the Page of Pentacles with the Page of Swords, it's very much aligned. That three, head, heart, mind, right? Bringing it forth in the physical, because it is very clear, it's very aligned of what needs to be communicated. It's also, to me, with this Garden and the Gate and the Four of Water, this Four of Water to me is a little murky. And the Page of Swords to me suggests we're seeing things more clearly of walking through that gate. So it's like, to me, you might have to stand your ground a little bit with these decisions, with this movement forward. You might feel a little defensive with the communication. I'm hearing too, having to stand your ground, but justice, balance. There's that 11 too, which could represent divine partners, twin flames, soulmates, however you guys resonate with it. Because I am getting something with some partnerships, and maybe I'll come back on today. Maybe I'll do a divine partner reading and get more clarity on that. But this to me is bringing in that balance, that justice. Again, there's a theme of balance coming through, making decisions from a place of balance, from being detached emotionally and mentally, of just really clarity is coming through. Balance. See, these scales are balanced, and he's holding the sword of truth. And that to me goes back to some of the messages that seem to be coming through for the Lightworker Collective of almost like wielding the sword. Like, now is the time to stand for justice, for truth, for balance, for equality. It's interesting how that's coming through today so clear, and to like a specific collective of people. Is what it is. Tell me a little more about this Page of Swords. Nope. Okay. I heard no. So we're going to move on. All right. Let's look at the new life with the Four of Air, the healing. The breaking out of the shell. Butterfly emerges. Tell us a little more about this theme of new life with the Four of Air. Oh. Thank you. Okay. Oh. All right. So I was seeing it before I even came on camera today. I was seeing this Nine of Pentacles. So definitely this is where this new life is where it's at. It's where you feel, or you're seeing and living in your physical space, this place of abundance, of stability, of grounded, high energy, high vibrational life. What's coming through. Very divine feminine today coming through too as well. But with masculine energy. And that's why I felt like I didn't feel guided to break it into feminine or masculine, because it's feeling very much like that's part of what's balancing is masculine and feminine energy within individuals, and kind of causing a little bit of divergence within the collective, but yet it's needed in order to bring it into the collective, right? Five of Swords. So to me, this is that cycle. And I had mentioned something in the headspace, right? Tied to an emotion. So with that Four of Cups and this Five of Swords here, with the healing, Four of Air energy in this new life, it's putting this sword down. It's that moment in that hangman of I'm fighting for shit that just doesn't matter anymore. I'm fighting for shit that isn't worth it. I'm fighting for shit that isn't, the giving and receiving isn't equal. It wears my ass out, and I'm bored of it, is what's kind of coming through. What I'm getting is it's laying down the sword, and we're in this healing moment of seeing clearly what we want, and we're ready to go for it. And I love that. There's that bird again, so definitely curious. Let me know if you start seeing feathers or birds, because that's coming through really clearly. And let's just end with looking at this milk and honey with the Ace of Earth as a theme too. Yep. Getting out of this, the Eight of Swords. It's in your head. So again, there's some things coming through now of how do we get to this place where we feel confident to break through, where we can see, I'm looking at this blindfold, but with this milk and honey, where we can see that rainbow, that pot of gold, that pentacle. It's like we have to, now it's coming through really quick. Getting out of that headspace and into the heart. I'm seeing that they're bringing me back to the garden and the gate. That you're not stuck behind this gate. You're not trapped. You hold the key. You hold the key. But it's clarity coming in is what I'm hearing. What else? With this milk and honey and the Ace of Earth. That was going to be a shit ton. Thank you. Moves. If you're making moves, when you have this clarity to make this move, I'd be really careful about who you're sharing it with. That's just coming through. This Four of Pentacles came out, and I'm getting this hold close, hold on to something closely. Kind of protect it, hold it close to your heart. It's almost like with this Five of Swords over here, and I'm seeing the Eight of Swords. There may be people around you who aren't for your highest good. They don't want the good things to happen for you because, well, I'd like to just, can I be real honest without pissing anyone off? They're pieces of shit that feel like shit about themselves, and they got to project that onto other people, and y'all know that story. But that's what I'm getting is a little bit of be careful who you're sharing with. Keep your circle small. Use your discernment about where you're getting guidance from. It's going to be part of that communication I'm getting, coming into the physical of maybe seeing. That might be part of what's coming in is communication and seeing some of these people around you that really don't have, sorry, I had to move my body for a sec. Seeing the truth of who they are, that they really don't have your back the way you thought. That they, yeah, that they're just kind of shady ass, like fake friends is what's coming through. It does feel like as you recognize this is really part of kind of getting the clarity of how you walk out of that gate, why you walk out of that gate. Okay. And I'm just going to end y'all with a last message from the Sacred Spirit reading cards. Let's just get one last message of guidance to end this reading, please. One last message of guidance on Mercury Retrograde. Last message of guidance for the collective with all this going on during Mercury Retrograde. Thank you. 2 came out. Okay. Yeah. I'm not surprised by either of these. Another 11 with Dark Night of the Soul. It says life brings new meaning. That to me connects with that Hangman. Also with a bit of what I got when I first saw this of maybe some waking up. They're telling me that goes back to if it resonated as someone coming back in or a new person coming back in regards to partnership, that person has gone through Dark Night of the Soul, where they're seeing things from a new perspective of really what, like I said, that 10 of Pentacles, that world cards energy coming through. So it also, to me, in regards to just you, person watching this video, who the messages are for, this is too a moment where you really see what this new life you want to create, what this milk and honey is about, what you want to walk into, it keeps coming through, what you want to create. This seems to be a very creative time. So use it, roll with it. If some kind of creative moment comes to you or creative idea, trust that, okay? And then channel your knowledge came out. Critical judgment. And I had just talked about discernment, something coming through with really using your discernment. I'm also getting a little bit of, and I like see how it's like coming down from the divine intelligence, higher consciousness, coming down and working through his pen. So if this is about career, if this is like the light worker group that I'm channeling some messages for today, this is about stepping onto the soul path, the soul mission. And it's about creativity, writing, communication, speaking, something like that. This is really where you're going to get the clarity. Let it flow through you is what Spirit's saying. Let it flow. All of this divine inspiration to flow through you. And that's really where this 9 and 10 of Pentacles are going to come. And I'm seeing that again, you guys. Last thing I'll end with is, remember, we started with this Ace of Earth, Ace of Pentacles, and then we have this 9 and 10, and we talked about that. So it feels like, and with this world, for those that things are coming together. So trust. And as always, I'm here if you would like to get into your specific situation, some clarity, some guidance. Just hit me up and I'll put all that information in the description box. And I think that's it for right now. I want to try my hand maybe at doing some sign readings. I've never done any on here, so you might see me play around with that this weekend. So I'm feeling inspired and motivated to get back out onto into the world. So I hope you are as well. And as always, I'm sending you shit tons of love and light. Bye, y'all.